it's Megan. Look where I am.
Look where we are.
So I bet you guys are wondering what we're doing back here because as you can tell, we're back in the pro-write department.
Well, you see, there's this thing going on campus this week called the C.S. Lewis and Friends Colloquium. And that's why we're here. We're being giant nerds and learning all about C.S. Lewis and Tolkien and the rest of the Inklings, and I am feeling like a child but trapped in a room with a bunch of philosophers. Yeah, we decided to take a film break and, let our brains die a little.
And tell you all about all the fun things that we're doing here and just to give you a little update. All right, so we want to tell you guys a little bit about the different sessions that we've been sitting in on and just the different cool things that we've been learning about while we've been here. So I've been able to take some handy dandy notes in these cool notebooks that they gave us when we got to the colloquium. Like, look at this, isn't this beautiful? This is like their symbol for the conference and it says Lewis and Friends and they gave us a pen too!
And it's a really nice pen.
It is, it's so nice.
And as writers, we have high standards for pens and this is a nice pen.
Jori, why don't you start with saying like one or two of the sessions that you've been to and maybe some cool things that you've taken away from that and then I'll share.
Okay. Well, in the past few days, we've been to a few different sessions, one of which was about C.S. Lewis's family and learning all about his lineage and where he came from and why it makes a lot of sense that he was a writer and a scholar in the way that he was. His family was very, very smart on both sides, so it's really no surprise. Also, most of his family were writers, so yeah, it went in his blood. Writing apparently is hereditary, and that gives us hope for all of our future children, assuming we get married. Another fun session that I just went to was about trees in the work of Lewis and Tolkien, and I got to learn a lot about Tolkien's particular views on Shakespeare and how he was not exactly the most pleased with how Shakespeare dealt with trees and fairies and witches and nymphs and other fairy tale creatures in his dramatical plays.
So I went to, this morning we had a session where a bunch of different people read their fiction pieces that they wrote as part of the writing conference, and I'm gonna insert a little picture here of Jori reading her short story at the colloquium this morning, and she did a really great job. She had a really great story that was inspired by obviously C.S. Lewis and Friends. So that was really cool to get to sit in on that. And I also sat in on a session today that was titled The Misquotable C.S. Lewis, which was really interesting because there was part of a C.S. Lewis quote that got attributed to Ryan Seacrest. I don't even know how that happened, but anyway, big mistake. So anyway, it's very interesting to see how people take quotes and how they reword them ever so slightly, and it can really change the meaning of the quotes. So that was definitely very interesting to get to sit in on and learn about that. Now what we want to do is we're going to talk a little bit about how C.S. Lewis and his friends and those writers of his era, how they have influenced our own writing.
Yeah, so for me, the way that these writers have influenced how I write and how I view different genres is that they are the pinnacle of how I pick fantasy and what I'm reading and how I judge fantasy. And I kind of use Tolkien's, The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit in particular. I use those as this is the goal if you ever write high fantasy. And same with Lewis, and in Narnia, I am very intrigued and I aspire to write something as relatable as Narnia is for children, for people of all ages, really. And so I look at them as my writing goals, because yes, I want to make a lot of money like J.K. Rowling, and I want to be famous like J.K. Rowling, but
don't we all?
Right? But these people, these writers and thinkers, they influenced the world and pretty much defined a genre, which I think is really cool, and I aspire to that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you, Jori, in the fact that I definitely look up to those writers so much. Like, I look up to C.S. Lewis and respect him so much. And one thing that I think is really cool about C.S. Lewis especially is the fact that he wrote in a lot of different genres, and we're reading all of his stuff still today. And his writing, after reading a lot of his different kinds of writing, it's helped me bring a new depth, I would say, to my own writing. Because, I mean, you can read a lot of the commercial fiction or just different things that are out right now, and you can read it and be like, well, that was entertaining, like that was a good story, but you're going to put it away and probably not really pick it up again. But we're rereading C.S. Lewis's stuff, and he died a while ago, and we're still looking at his stuff now. And so I think reading his stuff has definitely helped me realize that I want to bring that kind of depth to my writing that's not just, oh, this is entertaining, but like there's something more there. There's a meaning, there's a purpose or a message or a theme that I'm trying to get across, and like he does that so well, and so I feel like I want to try and mimic that.
So let us know in the comments how these writers have impacted you, and let us know what you're reading and how you have enjoyed getting to know these writers and their characters.
Hey! Thanks for watching our video, guys. If you like this, subscribe and share with your friends.